Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name's John Rawnsley, coming to you from lovely sunny Braintree in England today. And I hope you can hear me fine. And today I'm going to go through a quick presentation. I promise not to be longer than 30 minutes. And what I'm hoping to achieve by the end of this presentation is that by the end of the presentation, you'll have an overview of who Karatbars are, what Karatbars can do for you, why you should be saving gold, even as a customer, if not as an affiliate. But it won't be an in-depth presentation, as in we won't go into compensation plans, how the business works in depth. For that, please, if you've been invited here and you're looking at this presentation for the first time, by all means, get back to the person who has asked you to come and look at this link. So I'll stay out of view until the end of this presentation. Then at the end of the presentation, I'll come on and tell you my story. So let's get started and explain a little bit more about who Karatbars are and where they've come from. So Karatbars. Karatbars was founded in 2011 by Dr. Harold Constantine Seitz. He is the CEO and founder, and he's very passionate about gold, and he's passionate about this business and all of the affiliates and customers within there. He has stated, I promise you that Karatbars will continue to take every chance to promote and defend the financial freedom and security of every human being independently and decentrally. Our future is unlimitedly digital. It is resting on a solid foundation of pure gold at the same time. Harold also has a very strong mission statement. His mission statement is to get gold into the hands of the masses. What people don't realize is that 99% of the world do not own gold. And when I talk about gold, I'm not talking about gold jewelry, 9-carat gold or anything like that. Right, okay. So is the sound okay at the moment, please? Somebody's telling me. Yeah, fantastic, thank you. So Karatbars has over 900,000 affiliates worldwide. They're in over 140 active countries around the world, and they deal in 999.9 24 carat fine gold bullion, Karatbars cash gold. They've been dealing with fine gold since 2011, which has stood up the test of time. I'm going to go through a little bit of a history of the company and explain where we've gone in different over the last few years, and just see how the company is expanding and see what we have in store in 2020. I'm so excited to be part of this project. I can hardly contain myself. I'm telling more and more people every day. So even in lockdown, which is scary. So Karatbars founded in 2020 in Stuttgart, Germany, and it's just down the road from the Mercedes-Benz headquarters in the big business section in Stuttgart. One of the main things that I did when I first joined this company, after being in the company about 6 months, I booked myself an appointment and went and visited Stuttgart and saw their fantastic facility there. I've been there, fortunate, a couple of times, and seen what goes on in the headquarters, and it's quite an impressive setup. So I had no doubts whatsoever about the company and how the company is. So in 2012, 2016, they introduced gold cards. So Harold's vision was to get gold into the hands of the masses. And the way he's done that was he invented gold cards. He invented cards with gold inlays. And these cards have got their own security features on there. They've got DNA, their own DNA technology. They've got blacklight technology, which is UV light. They've got about 14 different security features to prove that it's real gold and you're not being duped by something inferior. In 2016, they first developed the concept of cash gold, and they introduced very small 0.1 gram cash gold notes into the system, along with Karat Pay and an exchange system, a method of exchanging cash across different boundaries. In 2017, cash gold expansion into the US and the Asian market. And we do this via an application called Karatpay, which is very soon to be moved onto our blockchain. Indeed, I managed to send 1.15 grams of gold yesterday to a friend of mine and colleague in America for some work that he did for me. And I managed to send that digitally yesterday. He can, if he wants, offload it and have that gold delivered if he wants. In 2018, we reached the dynamic cryptocurrency and the blockchain world by introducing Karat Gold Coin, our KBC. It was the first gold-linked cryptocurrency to reach a currency security on the blockchain at any one time, and that was physical gold that was around at the time. KBC was the most successful ICO of its time in 2018, and it created momentum and movement within the Karatbars community. In 2019, we introduced onto blockchain technology the K1 Impulse phone, which I'm proud to own, the WIM laptops, which are due for delivery sometime this year, the cash gold exchange machines. Now, these are like ATMs where you can use your Karatpay application to withdraw gold from these cash gold exchange machines. Karatpay, the easiest way of explaining Karatpay to anybody that doesn't quite understand and saying, what's all these carrots? Karatpay is very, very similar to PayPal. If you drop your fiat currency into PayPal and transfer it to somebody, they can get that cash out. Well, with Karatpay, it's exactly the same, but with gold. Along with that, in 2019, Crypto Data, which is part of the Karatbars team, patented the voice over blockchain protocol of communications. That's the medium in which our K1 phones and WIM laptops work over. It is unhackable, so much so that at the moment, if there's any people out there that feel that they could hack our blockchain and our phones, there is $1 million reward out for there. All you've got to do is intercept the transmission between the two phones and get the blockchain private key that's being sent there. It's got $1 million in that account. CaratNet blockchain is our blockchain. It's our own independent blockchain, independent of anyone else. And in 2020, we're in there now, we're in April, but we have some very innovative solutions coming along, not least the debit card type. We have a debit card which you will be able to load cryptocurrencies on, gold on, and use it to purchase goods in shops. It's like owning your own bank. I liken it to having a branch of a building society, because if anybody in your team or anybody in your business has these, there are fees attached to every bank transaction in the world. You know, no different with Karatbars. A percentage of these fees get fed back to you. So these digital cards are phenomenal. Coming on, and we're getting closer to the center of money. My good friend Sean Maloney talks about getting as close to the center of money generation as possible, and Karatbars are very much moving towards there with their own private system outside of the government banking solutions. Indeed, some of the old bankers of the world, John Pierpont Morgan, JP Morgan, you may have heard, private banking sector. John Pierpont Morgan is famous for saying gold is money, everything else is credit. He should know, being a private banker of the time around about when the Fed was set up, you know, gold is actually as transactable today as it was 5,000 years ago. And you can actually just do as much with that as you could back then. Gold holds its value, and I'll explain why in a second. In fact, the Alan Greenspan, He who owns gold owns money. He was the former head of the Federal Reserve, and he has always known the Federal Reserve always owned gold, regardless of when the gold currency dropped off. They still own gold. And one of my, I would like to say, mentors, Robert Kiyosaki, I've met this gentleman. He's the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad and a book called Fake. He said gold is God's money, and it is the way he talks about meeting a chief in Hawaii who explained to him why gold is God's money. And these people all understand why owning gold is so precious. Indeed, Dr. Harold Constantine, he who owns gold, I'm going to say always has money. I think that's the German translation's gone a little bit wrong there, but who owns gold has always money. He's the author of The Future of Money, which is a fantastic book I happen to own as well. And it does go into there in great depth. Harold has done his insight into why we need gold and all the innovative solutions that were put in together at this point in time. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of a history trip at the moment so that you can understand why we're in situations that we are. In 1873, the US set a gold standard. Now, what that actually meant was each dollar in the world was equatable to an amount of gold. And I'm not sure, I believe $35 was a gram of gold. I may be wrong, it might have been more. But effectively, if you owned dollars, it was the same as owning gold. And banks and organizations around the world all held dollars as the same safe repository of their money. Everything in the world, all other currencies were pegged to the dollar, and whenever the dollar went up, that basically set the whole financial institution. However, there was a crisis arising in around about the early 70s, and France started cashing in lots of its dollars for gold and asking for that to come back. And that forced the then President Richard Nixon in 71 to cancel the direct convertibility of United States dollar to gold. This was a temporary cancellation as well. However, it's never ever been put back into situation, because what it allowed people to do was actually just turn on printing presses. And it meant that in 1971, every currency in the world became just a standard fiat currency, F-I-A-T, that's a fiat currency. So when you hear people talking about fiat currencies, they're talking about any currency in the world that isn't backed by anything. The global crisis in Europe and the United States led to global inflation, causing a rapid decrease in currency value. Why? Because they were printing more money. And that's just what happens. The pounds that you have in your hands today is not worth as much as the pounds at the beginning of this pandemic, for example, because there's trillions of pounds being pumped into the economy at this particular moment, especially with everything that's going on at the moment. In 2008 was the last major crisis we saw. It was a real estate bubble, and what that meant was banks had to write off loans. New money had to be printed, and they did this through a system called quantitative easing. And at the moment, I think America's unlimited quantitative easing, which means they're just printing more and more money, and the values is dropping down all the time. So what does that mean to you particularly? So let's just look at this. This is 20 euros. Karatbars is a German company. They deal in euros, so we're going to talk in euros. In 1998, 20 euros, or the equivalent thereof, would have got you a full basket, a full trolley of groceries. And I seem to remember things like that as well. And I've noticed things get smaller as time goes on. In 2005, 7 years later, you'd have probably got a third less. In 2013, well, you'd probably got another third. So the price had actually gone down. That's actually inflation, as I explained earlier on. The pound dropping. The pound that you have today is not worth what it was at the beginning, because they printed more money, they put more money into the system, so therefore by virtue it has to actually decrease, so money decreases. On the other hand, we have gold. So in 1920, if you'd have had a model Ford T straight off the production line, it would have cost you $645, or 1 kilogram of gold. You could have paid 1 kilogram of gold, would have got you $645. Today, that same, well, not the same car, but a brand new pickup truck, Ford Ranger pickup truck, around about $40,000. Or again, 1 kilogram of gold. Now let's just put that into perspective. Gold has held its value. It's got the same buying power that it had in 100 years ago. So had your grandparents, great-grandparents put away 2 parcels for you, one parcel of $645, one parcel of 1 kilogram of gold, and said, do not open for 100 years. And you opened that this year because you've been waiting anticipantly for it, your $645 would be nice, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as nice as owning 1 kilogram of gold. You know, 1 kilogram of gold back then, nothing's changed except it's held its value. The values, it's held its buying power. The value has gone up significantly. So that's where they are. Karatbars itself, all Karatbars are held as credit-sized gold cards. The gold bars are 1 gram. We actually have 1 gram, 2.5, and 5 grams of classic gold, which is the original gold that we issued. The cards can be used as practical means of payment. They can be used as personal branding cards, and I'll show you some innovative ideas that people have given later on. But you can brand these and give them out to customers, and they're available in various designs, which means some people are actually starting to collect them. But the jewel in the crown of Karatbars is actually their cash gold. Each cash gold unit is provided with backlight authenticated feature on the front, as well as a scannable unique Karatbars DNA. That is the front of each card has actually got a DNA imprinted on it, which proves that it is Karatbars gold and it's not fake. The only paper money not dependable on governments or falling economies. Why? Because the gold is actually held in the note. So what you're actually giving to somebody is the gold in the note. You can purchase any product in our Karatbars ecosystem with cash gold. In fact, we prefer you to purchase any product in our ecosystem with cash gold, because that makes the whole ecosystem work better. As far as the ecosystem goes, again, the person who's brought you along here will more than happily go into that and explain it in much more depth. More and more establishments around the world are accepting our cash gold as a means of payment. I know that in Braintree, I have a golf club that will accept it. I've got a restaurant that will accept it, a telecoms company that will accept it. So people are starting to understand and prefer to take gold as payments for the future. So what does that actually mean for you? Well, it means we're going to talk a little bit about financial security. You know, this is a means of giving you financial security. You know, it's your own personal sovereignty, as my friend Sean Maloney says. It gives you independence, financial independence from the bank. It allows you to increase your assets and protect your wealth, as well as hedging in a time of crisis. Now, what does hedging in a time of crisis mean? It means actually collecting your gold and holding it. At this moment in time, I've had people come up to me and say, John, but with the pandemic, everything's happening, you know, gold is going up. So isn't now a time to sell gold? It's not a time to acquire gold. Absolutely not. It's the wrong time. In my opinion, and I'm not a financial advisor, this is just mine. I'm just an independent affiliate giving my own views on this. In my opinion, it's not the right time. If you look at history and you look at 2008, the peak after 2008's crisis, and what happens is banks turn to gold and sell off stocks. That's how they're hedging in times of crisis. And what happened in 2008, if you look at what happened in 2008, the peak of gold came in 2011. And we reached that peak and passed that peak a little while ago in 2020 because gold is on the increase again. So what can we offer you? Well, we can offer free customer and affiliate accounts. It doesn't cost anything to join. We do ask you to prove who you are so that there is no money laundering going on. So we ask you to provide a proof of ID and a proof of address and upload your what we call KYCs. Again, the person who's invited you can take you through all that. However, what you want to do is realize, you know, what do I want out of life? Do I want to increase my financial security? Do I want to protect my financial independence? You know, what are your plans? What plans do you have for your family, your freedom, security, your wealth and your lifestyle? To me, financial independence is completely different to what my colleagues have financial independence. And I'll explain that when I talk a little bit more about my story, and you'll understand, you know, how what I see as financial independence completely different. But what you can do now is you can learn how you can start a simple duplicatable business with Karatbars from home and benefit from our multi-gold packages. As I said, I'm not going to go into these multi-gold packages. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to refer you back to the person who asked you to look at this, and they will explain more about how these phenomenal packages can help you get started with cash gold, earning an income right now from day one. Muhammad Ali, even the greatest, was once a beginner. Don't be afraid to take that first step. And I think that's really, really, really important. And what I would suggest now is you contact your referring affiliate immediately. You register for your free account now. Again, there is no risk to registering. You can just get used to what's happening in the back office, see how the products come together and how everything works. Take advantage of our system, use your own landing page immediately. You can get people signed up immediately into your business. Visit our webinars, live meetings and conferences and team pages. During this crisis at the moment, there is absolutely an abundance of resources out there. And once you've joined a team, somebody will be there to help you. Contact our support team. They're there 24/7. You might be an independent affiliate, but you are actually not on your own at all. You know, start today in your new golden future. And I'd just like to thank you at that point and just bring myself on screen here. And just a second, bear with me. So I might be around so I can see pictures here of everyone. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and bring myself on here. Bambos, you haven't muted. There we go. So, right. Hi, everyone. As I say, my name is John Rawnsley. I am a Gold Director Elite with Karatbars International. I joined Karatbars back in June 2017, and the person that invited me into Karatbars didn't really know much about me or anything about my circumstances. But I'd been hurting for a few years. I love the affiliate model. I love network marketing, and I love this business model totally. But what I found was it was all right going into a system, but when you're giving products and products out to people and you're always asking them to repurchase, then becomes a bit of an issue for me, especially in times like now. However, with Karatbars, gold was completely different. Now I have £300 coming in from a previous side gig that I had, and it comes in, so residual income works, and it's an opportunity out there. There was a conflict of interest, so I just take the money now, and that's 9 years down the line. I've done no work with that business. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to put that to work for me, because I've been in business on my own for over 20 years, various businesses. And what I've been trying to do is put a little aside for my pension, because I don't have a huge pension pot. In fact, it's probably gone down even more over this last month or so. But what I did do was I'd worked out that if I put £300 into gold every month, then in 10 years, when I was due to retire, that would have been about £36,000 worth of gold. If gold goes up by 10% on average, which is a fair average for gold at the moment, per year, that would have meant I'd have got £68,000, not enough to retire on, but enough to actually sit back, kick off my boots and have a little bit of a holiday and everything along with it. Because financial freedom and financial independence to me is very, very similar to that. That's what I like to do. We go on holiday quite a lot. So I started my Karatbars journey back in June 2017. Within 5 weeks, I'd got to the fast start bonus. And what happened was I won an incentive trip to Las Vegas. I set a goal for myself, because these things are not get rich quick schemes. They require work. But I set a goal for myself that I would get to Gold Director Elite. That was January 2018, but I would get to Gold Director Elite by December 2018. What I actually achieved, I achieved that in October. I think October 2018, I actually achieved Gold Director Elite, and I've been moving on with the business since then. I've got a business of around about 2,000 people, but it's not about me. It's about what can this business do for you. So for me, financial freedom, my wife enjoys trips. Fortunately, with Karatbars last year, we went to 12 different countries over 4 different continents. 5 of them were completely paid for by Karatbars through their incentive plans, which are phenomenal. 90% of my trips last year were paid for by Karatbars. And that's the sort of freedom that you can gain from this. When I first joined this, I had a business in 2008, 2009, cost me £108,000 when it failed, £180,000 when it failed. That was debt that I accrued because of that. Sean didn't know that when Sean Braithwaite, who is my sponsor, didn't know that when he brought me in, because it wasn't something I actually spoke about, because I didn't understand money, and I didn't understand what money was doing or what currencies were doing. So fast forward now, 2020, I own cash gold. We have our cash gold. I own the 1, the 6, the 3 grams cash gold. I've got the classic gold. I have the the K1 phone with, you'll see my little key that I have around my neck. But this is my security key, which makes it very, very secure for me and for me only. And Karatbars offer the opportunity. We helped the Bahamas during the problem that they had. So Stay Safe Bahamas, a certain percentage of that went to the organization, or went to help the Bahamas when you bought these cars. So it's got some fantastic opportunities to help people around the world. So I don't really want to go on about that. There's much more that Karatbars has given me. I'm fortunate in I'm getting a residual income from Karatbars, but we have had to work to get to where we are. If I can do it, pretty much anyone can do it. I had failed in different businesses in the past, however, having a product that actually doesn't disappear when somebody buys it, it actually gives them value. To me, I'm passionate now about helping people get information out of there. And somebody's actually asked me to do this today. Somebody said, would you do this, John? And I wasn't going to, but I will. It's so simple. What Karatbars does is we help people turn fiat currencies like this. We just turn them into gold. And it's as simple as that, because that's what Karatbars does. And with that, I'm going to finish and say thank you very much for listening to me. I'm on every Thursday. We have very inspiring speakers every day of the week apart from Saturday, and I would love you, I'd love you to tune in, bring in as many people as you can for that. I will have a look and see if there's any questions very quickly, but I don't want to keep anyone. If it's a too technical question, I won't actually go through that, because that again will have to go to somebody else, go to your upline or somebody that has asked you to come along here. Okay, have a fantastic Easter, everyone. Good Friday tomorrow. And yes, stay safe. Please stay safe, because that's what we need to do. So I'm just looking to see if there's any questions here. Thank you very much. Appreciated. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Can I do it again? Watch next Thursday and I'll do the trick again, okay? Watch it too many times. Okay. Sorry, Karen, you've said loyalty scheme there. Can you elaborate a little bit? So, sorry, Chris has just asked, how can I use bonus cards, 3% and loyalty schemes? Again, your upline should be able to explain that to you. But if you enter them into your back office, it will give you 10% off one of our multi-gold packages. It'll give you 3% off classic gold purchases. And the 10% is normally more than 100 euros that you used to get on a VIP anyway. Monthly saving, yes, sorry, Karen, they do have, Karatbars does incentivize you to actually save regularly. I save regularly. Gold, you can save weekly, bi-weekly or monthly with classic gold into an auto exchange. It's not an auto ship. You don't have to do auto ship in Karatbars. However, we just set it and forget it. And what happens is it increases your, it just increases your gold value and just get that delivered to you. In fact, I've had a load of gold delivered not long ago, which is mine because I like to keep my gold safe. And again, I needed to send some gold to America yesterday for a job that somebody done. They were sending me a parcel actually, and that parcel, I just paid them in gold for it, and the system works phenomenally. Okay, with that, do we want a little bit more Kyle Patrick as we finish, and we'll go from there. A little bit going for gold, and then I'll close down. Thank you very much.
Let's make some history tonight. The child inside is wild. Let's make this moment come to life. The time is on our side. Don't know what's up ahead, it's only high and low.